I've been running e-commerce brands for over 7 years now, and while I've scaled multiple stores past 7 figures, recently one of them just hit $760,000 in a single month, while my main brand does over $5 million in revenue in just a little bit over a year. And no, it wasn't because of some trendy product, copying my competitor ads, or ripping from Calodata. It was because of a system I perfected over years of losing money, learning lessons, and doing all the boring stuff no guru talks about. So in this video, I'm going to teach you exactly how I scaled my brand all the way up to $760,000 in a single month. And by the end of it, you'll be able to steal and apply this predictable scaling system to your e-commerce brand as well. So let's get into it. So the first thing we need to talk about is product selection. And I know everyone talks about finding winning products, but the approach I have for this is completely different from what most people teach. Everyone says to pick some unsaturated product that not too many people are running. But one of the worst things that could actually happen when you're starting a brand or testing a product is choosing a product that just doesn't have enough demand, because you could have the best marketing skills in the world, but if nobody wants what you're selling, you're screwed. And this is exactly why I took the opposite approach for my product. The single common factor between each one of my winning products is that they're all a proven winning product in very competitive red ocean niches. And usually what I do is I introduce a new unique mechanism or target a completely different avatar to differentiate from my competitors. And this is probably what you haven't heard too much about before. So I choose products that are in these red ocean niches because it shows that there's already existing demand. These red ocean niches have tons of competitors, which validates the demand and removes the risk of entering a market with no buyers. So let me give you an example so you can actually apply this when you choose a product. Think about creatine. So creatine is an extremely saturated product, as we know. We all know that there's demand for creatine, but if you were one of the first companies to introduce creatine in the form of a gummy, which is introducing a new unique mechanism, you'd be rich as hell right now. So essentially, I always choose a product that has already proven demand, solves a real problem, and then I just like to compete with these competitors because I'm confident in my own marketing skills, which means I'll be competing with them on making better funnels, better creatives, better offers, mechanisms, etc. And here's another key piece. I really like products that have a high LTV, which is lifetime value. So it's essentially products where customers will buy again and again. So I'm just looking for repeat purchases, or most importantly, being able to introduce subscriptions, because these kind of products are perfect for the LTV strategy I use to make my brand extremely profitable, which I'll be showing you in a couple minutes. But to find the perfect product for yourself, simply find something in demand that has high LTV potential with subscriptions, and find a way to introduce a new unique mechanism or target a different avatar that your competitors haven't really tapped into. So you know how I chose my product, but here's the thing. Even with the perfect product, my revenue would have capped out way earlier than it should have if I didn't do this one thing. And it all comes down to how I think about profitability, because here's something that basic e-commerce videos on YouTube don't tell you. When you run ads and get a purchase, you don't want to pay just for that single order. If you do, then you're just constantly going to be worried about first order profitability and maintaining a super low cost per acquisition as you scale, which will really hurt you in the long run. But since I always choose high LTV products that I can offer subscriptions and my customers are going to be ordering again and again and again, I'm essentially paying for the customer instead of the order. And I'll continue to make money off this customer over time through their lifetime value. And this system I used is called the 90-day LTV system, which in its simplest terms is when you move your goal from first order profitability to 90-day profitability instead. And this is exactly what allowed me to hit those 760K months, which was my peak month for this store. Think about it like this. Most brands are stuck trying to make profit on every single sale, especially their first order. So let's say it costs someone $30 to get a customer for a $50 product. Then suddenly one day it jumps up to $50 to get that customer for the same $50 product. Since they're so focused on making a profit on every order, they'll panic and stop spending as much money on ads. But if you really think about it, when you scale your daily budget and really try to scale hard, naturally over time, it's going to cost more to get each customer. However, since I'm focused on 90-day profitability, I can afford to pay $50, $60, or even $80 to acquire a customer on that same $50 product, especially since I know they're going to be worth $100 or more in profit over the course of 90 days. This means means I can outspend my competitors who are stuck trying to maintain a low CPA and aren't really able to scale spend as much as me. Overall, I can spend way more aggressively on ads compared to my competitors and show my creative and brand to way more people. I can also go after colder audiences that cost way more to convert, and I can keep scaling even when CPA rises because I'm not as worried about today's profitability. I'm worried about 90-day profitability. So here's how you can actually execute the 90-day LTV system for yourself. Phase 1, start by introducing subscriptions. When you do this, it's normal for conversion rate to drop a bit, but your subscription take rate should be very high. For now, you should definitely try to focus on first order profitability until rebills start hitting. Then once your first rebills start hitting, that's when you start raising your ad budgets and can start scaling at break even on ad. You don't need to be making as much money on the front end at this point, since you're going to be banking on all the profit from the repeat revenue. But definitely don't go below break even yet at all, since the first month of rebills won't be anything crazy. And after you do this, you can move on to phase 2, which is calculating your 90-day LTV. Here, just keep scaling at break even and really let the subscriptions compound. By month 2 of your rebills, your margins should be very good despite scaling at break even, because you've got customers from month 1 hitting their second rebill and customers from month 2 hitting their first rebill, and you're still acquiring new customers at break even just fine. All that repeat revenue will be extremely profitable long term. And once month 3 rebills hit and you have solid LTV data, cash in the bank now, you can start scaling ads at a loss. At this point, you should know what customer acquisition costs you can afford based on your 90-day LTV data, and you have cash flow to support it as well. Which leads me to phase 3, increase ad spend until your day 0 ROAS hit break even. And this is when you can go from 1K a day, 5K a day to 10K a day in ad spend easily. Because even when you're acquiring these customers at a break even ROAS, you know they're worth however much money you calculated over the course of 90 days. And all your competitors who needs to be profitable on day 1, they just can't compete with you anymore, since you'll be eventually outspending them all and still maintaining high profitability. Overall, the key takeaway is you start profitable, introduce subscriptions while staying profitable, then you can start scaling at break even once rebills start to kick in. And then you can scale aggressively once you have 90 days worth of data and the cash flow to support scaling at a loss. Overall, you're just building the machine step by step, proving it works at each stage before scaling it to the next level. That's it. But here's the thing, this entire system would have fallen apart if I didn't acquire customers profitably at first. And if your creatives don't convert, you're just burning cash with no rebills to save you. So how did I actually make creatives that convert these customers into becoming high LTV customers? Now, this is where most people get completely wrong, because almost anyone can use AI tools like NanoBanana, Kling, Claude to cook up some copy and add creatives, but this never works by itself, because most of the time, new e-commerce brand owners or dropshippers are just ripping their competitors' creatives one-on-one, having AI make mediocre copy since they don't actually know what good copy is, and have no clue how to do proper deep research on their ICP, their ideal customer persona, to actually craft creatives that resonates with their ICP. For creatives to actually work, you need to have a real creative strategy from doing proper research, where you're listening to your customers and not simply copying your competitors. So for each brand that I launch, I need to know a lot of things about my ICP, such as their age, gender, beliefs, mass desires, the emotional drivers behind the mass desires, their pain points, and the keywords that the ICP themselves are actually saying. Then I will leverage that information in every step of the process, from crafting angles that actually resonate with my ICP, the overall copywriting for all my creatives, and most importantly, the landing page for my creatives, which I'll cover at the end of this segment. So you can't just throw together a surface level AI creative or rip creative from your competitors and expect it to work. To truly scale, you need to know the ins and out of your ICP and know them better than they know themselves in order to actually make creatives that'll convert hard. If I didn't do that, my brand would have never made close to 760K that month or do over 5 mil in rev in just a little over a year. So the first step to a real 7-figure ad creative strategy is that you need to do proper deep research on your ICP. I also personally use post-purchase email surveys to really learn more about my customers. I ask my customers themselves what made them buy my product, why, and when do they use my product, their age, etc. But since you're most likely not getting many customers yet, or maybe even doing email marketing quite yet, if you're just starting out, you probably won't be able to do that. So you can get this type of information by browsing Amazon reviews, reviews of your product, browse Facebook groups, competitor reviews, and browse Reddit especially. You can also use Gemini deep research tool to help you with that type of research as well. But once you actually do proper deep research on your ICP, then you'll actually be able to write copy that resonates with them, since you'll be actually using words that your customer uses themselves, and you will actually be able to channel their mass desires and the emotional drivers behind it towards your product. But to really know what works for your brand, it's normal to test tons of different angles, mass desires, and formats until you find that first winning creative. And with AI, it really allows us nowadays to increase our creative output to another level. In the past, you'd have to be a really good video editor yourself or hire a graphic designer yourself to pump out original quality creatives. But like I said, nowadays with Nano Banana, for example, you can make image statics without having any clue about graphic design. But I still prioritize quality over quantity. So make sure you're still doing proper research and learning what good copywriting actually is, since once you can actually combine quality with quantity, that's when you can really scale to $1 million a month. Personally, through testing hundreds of different creatives for my brand, a majority of that $760K in revenue was actually through image statics. So you can definitely scale hard even without video creatives. Now, finally, the last step of my ad strategy, and the biggest reason why my creatives converted so well, and it's something that many people don't take into account, is understanding that there are 5 stages of market awareness, from unaware to most aware. And if you can convert unaware and problem aware customers, which is essentially the majority of customers, you'll be able to unlock the biggest scale. However, these type of customers require a lot of education about your product to even consider buying it. So when you send those type of customers directly to a product page, it's not really going to convert as well, since they haven't been educated as much on the product yet. So instead of putting the same landing page for all my creatives, I use different creatives and pre-sale pages depending on the level of market awareness. Pre-sale pages are pages such as advertorials or listicles that customers land on after clicking the CTA button on your creatives. And the goal of these pre-sale pages is to educate the customer before selling them on anything. The reason why we call them pre-sale pages is because we're not directly sending these customers to a product page where they're probably immediately hit with an offer right away. Instead, we're educating them first via the advertorial or listicle before they're ever hit with an offer or redirected to our product page. And in order for these pre-sale pages to convert, you need to ensure message congruency between your creative to your pre-sale page and to your product page. Overall, your entire funnel needs to be congruent in terms of messaging. That's the biggest thing here. For example, you can't be targeting menopause women and sending them to a pre-sale page about male powerlifters. You know, the funnel isn't congruent at all. For example, this creative is targeting people who are aware that they are having issues with joints and recovery, but they're not aware about potential solutions like creatine. So instead of sending these type of customers directly to a product page with a creatine product and they immediately get hit with prices and whatnot and an offer, I would actually send them to a advertorial or listicle that properly educates them about creatine and really present creatine as a solution to their problems first before showing them any pricing or any offer, and basically not hard sell the product right away before they're properly educated about the solution. So overall, being able to make creatives that resonate with my ICP along with congruent funnels that actually match customers at their awareness level with a congruent pre-sale page is what really allowed my creatives to really convert. But for bottom of the funnel, most aware customers, you can get away with sending them straight to your product page though, because they typically already know about your product and just need a little bit more urgency, social proof, or a deal just to get them over the finish line. And now you know the exact strategy I use to make over $760,000 in a month with my e-commerce brand. Now, whether you're brand new to e-com or already have a brand or dropshipping store and just looking for help scaling, I'm currently offering private one-on-one coaching where I'll be personally working with you one-on-one and show you the exact strategies I use to scale multiple brands to 7 figures in less than a year. And not only that, but my coaching program has helped people like Anthony scale their e-commerce brands past 1 mil rev in less than a year. So if this sounds good to you, you can just click the top link in the description to apply. Thanks for watching.